Alright, we are picking up 1 week before Rudius's. Actually, no, we'll go back and do some stuff at around his 14th birthday.
Okay.
So, at some point, your father and your sister vanish, only for you to find out from your mother that they've gone on a hunting trip for a day or two through the archway.
Th- They went without me?
Father daughter thing. I'm sure he'll take you through next time.
Yeah, I'm sure he will.
You sound disappointed, Rudius.
Kinda.
Do go on.
I mean, I mentioned about the portal before, and it was always a big no. And then now all of a sudden he goes with Chi, and I don't even get to come.
Disappointing, isn't it?
Y- yeah,
Do you know why she got to go?
he's stronger than me.
Do you really think your father thought even the slightest bit about the strength difference between you two?
He shrugs.
Your father would have grabbed the first child that he came across and said, "We're going on a hunting trip." It is entirely happenstance that you weren't picked first.
That makes sense considering it's him, but he doesn't feel like that's the case. Oh, okay then.
Now, keep working on your studies, and your father will take you out when he's back. Assuming they don't encounter anything too dangerous out there. If they do, there's no
Hopefully,
way in hell I'm letting you go out there.
fair point, but I think they should be fine. And it's only for a day.
Exactly. It is only for a day.
Cuts to 3 months later, they're still not back yet.
A week goes by, and your mum is slowly going. I wouldn't say mad, but you just find her staring out through the archway from time to time.
He's doing his best to try and keep her calm and reassure her that he's sure everything's fine. And now you know how dad is, probably just taking his time. Or
Every time there's a strange sound, she turns and says, "Chi Chi." Every time there's the sound of a bird flapping their wings.
oh,
Weeks becomes a month, and she slowly gets a stronger grip on herself. You do
by
find,
stronger grip, do you
well,
mean
you
like
find
she's more
her
accepting?
more accepting and sharpening of knives. The sort of knives that you'd use to skin a boar.
he's he's staying all the way away from that, and hoping his dad has a good excuse as to why this has happened. Otherwise, uh, he's probably better staying on that other side.
A month becomes 2, and the kitchen becomes an armory. It's strange. You've lived in this kitchen for a couple years now, but up until now there hasn't always been a knife within arm's reach. New ones too. Special rare ones that used to just
Maybe
sit in the collection boxes.
maybe this is getting slightly excessive.
Sharpening of knife, whatever do you mean?
Well, opens cupboard door and just a bunch of knives fall out the cupboard onto the floor.
Pick those up and wash them.
You, I,
Don't
there's
make me ask
too
twice,
many
Rubius.
of them. He's saying this as he's picking them up and getting to wash them.
Yes, well, once your father's home, we won't need it then. But what if something comes through that archway and the others cannot stop it?
It's possible, but it might just be there's like a time delay. Like maybe different planes have different flows of time. So like it's only been like a day for them, but it might be like months for us.
I considered that, but I checked with the other Asmar. When he went through on the expedition, hours were hours.
It's weird then. He's gonna finish cleaning the knives and maybe try and organize this a bit so that it's not taking up as much space, if possible.
Yep.
So,
That
you know, there's
night.
room to use a kitchen as a kitchen
Yep.
instead of the knife room.
That night, your mum puts away the knives. And she starts weaving an arrow.
Weaving an arrow.
Yes. Very, very thin threads. The feathers of the arrow are actually your father's.
Sorry, you were saying? Hello?
Sorry. Um, so your mother starts weaving an arrow.
Weaving an arrow.
Yes. So a woven
Oh,
arrow
is that the
is Basically, like hard rope that you weave together into a solid piece.
Oh, okay.
It's not bendable like rope, but it is woven in the same manner.
Huh, I didn't know that was a thing for making arrows.
It's not really a technique that's used. There's, it's just as good to use. What is it called? Just sticks that have been shaven down.
Yeah.
So it's a bit excessive for something that will likely break, but they just tend to hold up slightly longer.
Okay.
And when Rudius sleeps that night, he has his first dream of the blade. In a void
Oh, this
before
is.
him, he sees this.
He's gonna walk towards it.
As you walk towards it, the path before you begins to break apart, and then you find yourself falling through a void and then waking up in a field.
Is the void similar to the one from the last kind of nightmare I had before?
No, that was a void of absence. This was a void of things yet to be made.
Okay. So I have two voids inside me.
That's a little gay, but okay.
There we go. There's a reaction to the joke. So I'm gonna start looking around in this field.
Alright. You walk and you walk, and then you wake up the next morning.
So what was this field like? Was it like completely identical? Like there's no differences anywhere, just like a vast plain?
It, it was kind of not necessarily artificial, but just like a random field that you would have come up with your own imagination.
What was the sky like?
You can't remember.
Hmm. So I take it this is like the most vivid dream I've had about this sword.
Yes. Before
All
there's
right, I'm
been
gonna try
fragments,
and
but never a dream focused on it.
okay. I'm gonna try and do my best to make a sketch of what that sword looked like, and kind of write down notes on this dream about the planes. So do I think that this is like something I've conjured up in like the like it's? I'm trying to think of the best way to word this. I probably won't. I don't know what can check to be. So from my perspective, sword went towards it, fell in a void into just like grassy plains,
Yep.
and was this grass like anything I've seen before, or like
Very similar to the ones that you've
recognizable in
seen
any
before.
sense? So it didn't look like it's like from like another plane or place, or
Correct.
like it's
It didn't
okay.
seem unique.
So nothing like recognizable about like, oh, maybe I've been here before, or like I've seen this or something. It was just like a generic plane of like a plains
Correct.
area. Okay. I guess he'd like talk about the dream that he had.
Alright. Your mother would be quite interested. She would ask you to sketch out your sword. Make
I'd
me a
do so.
craft check.
Craft, okay. Yeah, I'm still not trained in craft, but all right, here we go.
I'm enjoying kit bashing, it's fantastic.
Oh, it's amazing.
That's the first weapon that I've
I'll
made with it.
+5.
Alright. 21. Get a reasonable approximation of the design. It's a little bit difficult to get it exact because there's actual threads of magic coming off of the sword.
Oh, also, I've made an inspiration consumable on my sheet.
Neat. Alright. About a week later, your mother brings you what appears to be a sword with a shaft on it, but no blade. So it's a hilt and then there's a shaft to it.
Okay. Oh, thank you.
The hilt approximates the design. I was thinking for your 16th, we could get something done up for it. Some sort of enchantment laid upon it to make it look like what you've been imagining.
That'd be cool.
Or you could make some sort of alchemy effect, and then you can get it to look like what you're thinking. Some sort of crystal mist.
Maybe. Probably could make something like that given enough time. Still working on the whole alchemy thing. Don't know 100% if it's what I want to do yet,
That's
but
okay, there's no pressure. There's so many different ways that you could make the weapon that you've been dreaming of. Or maybe it's even already out there and you need to find it. But this is just something for you to remember your dreams by.
yeah. Can I make any sort of correlation between what I saw and the mark I have on my hand? Or is that just like a complete jump in logic?
Well, it could be that because of a tattoo, birthmark on your hand in the first place, that's what caused you to dream about this blade in the, dream and conjure up the idea of this blade in the first place.
Okay, so you don't think that would be an illogical thing to think of, or like me jumping the gun with something? If like
No,
he was okay,
but it's also not necessarily. For example, while he might think there's a connection there, it's also likely that he thinks, "Hey, this is just a mark that I was born with."
yeah, like he's not like 100% on it. You just think like, oh, there could be something there, or there could not.
Yeah.
Really, yeah, he'd start sketching out some ideas, trying to do the math on how to get that to look right.
All right.
Ask Cotton Pop about Crystal Myth, not Myth, Mist, wasn't it?
Crystal mist effect.
The Crystal Mist effect.
Yeah, it could be done, but you'd have to replace it every so often.
Where can I get crystal mist from?
Or you'd take crystal and then you'd apply an acidic chemical to it, and then you'd get the mist. It'd be like glass to anyone who breathed it in.
Including me?
Not if you learn to wield it right.
I guess that. I guess I better try then. But I don't know. I guess that like gives it has the effect of glass on you. It doesn't sound all that ethical.
Oh, Rudius. If you get into a fight, and I'm quoting your father right now, ethics go out the window when the other guy breathes on you like he's a dragon.
I mean I guess.
You can be ethical and dinner, or you can be prepared to break your ethics when a dragon tries to eat you.
I, yeah, I just I don't know. Maybe there's a way I could control it to only activate at certain times.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of different ways. You could probably make it so that in the pummel of the blade, there's a little lever to actually activate the effect.
Okay, so that could work then. I just wouldn't want to be carrying around like a toxic sword everywhere I go. It's like always active.
That's reasonable.
Like there's a difference between wanting to use something for self-defense and constantly carrying around something that probably should violate some sort of ethical convention.
We are back.
Not good.
I am back.
Oh, welcome back.
Apologies. Um, where,
That's no problem.
where were we?
Uh, Crystal Mist talked about getting like an activation button for it because I Rudius was just saying it feels kind of like it should violate some kind of ethical code if I was just carrying around something that had that kind of effect in like a public area.
Alright. She didn't have much more to add to that. She pretty
And
much
that
agreed
was
with the statement.
okay. And that was my mom talking, right?
No, that was Cotton Pop.
Okay. So I've been meaning to ask, um, why did you want to study medicine?
Well, when I was a wee lad, my tribe got attacked by an absolute fuckton of drow.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Sorry, give me a minute. I need to turn off Jarvis. I'm back.
Oh, Mac.
Sorry, Jarvis was having a stroke.
Ah, poor Jarvis.
No, not poor Jarvis.
How good's your health plan, by the way? Is Jarvis going to be all right?
Uh, I don't know. I'll just get a different AI if he's not working right.
Update to Friday.
Yep. Alright.
Your town was attacked by Drow?
Yep. Pretty savage battle. Now, do you know what Drow are known for? There's three things that they're known for.
Uh, do I know what Drow are known for?
Nope. You've not got much history on Drow.
Uh, no, I have no idea.
That's fair. So, first and foremost, Drow are known as slave traders.
Oh,
Slave trade is not always as bad as you might initially assume. The deprivation of one's ability for personal freedom is usually relative to the society that they live in. For example, someone who lives in a dictatorship, slavery is not usually as bad as a situation where you live in a free society like ours. In our society, slavery is considered quite bad. In a dictated society, your individual freedoms are secondary to the government itself, where the government has the foremost opinion on all matters. That's not to say slavery is good, it is to say that the society has a place for slavery in it. Whereas in our free society, it is entirely dependent on our individual views on it to determine how we feel about slavery. Now, as your part elf, you're likely to share similar opinions to myself and our kind on the fact that slavery is the deprivation of individual freedoms, and it's about as cruel as you can really get.
Mm-hmm.
Death is often a preferable solution.
Yeah.
You'll find that humans and other races try to enslave us. Maybe it lasts for a generation, maybe even two, but eventually we get free, and we usually strike back about a dozenfold. There was an elf I heard of who systematically waited until someone had a child and then killed the father of that entire bloodline, rinsing and repeating for over 1,000 years.
That seems kind of excessive.
Yeah, elves are incredibly passionate, and that passion does not go away. Whereas you'll find that even for yourself, since you're only half elf, you'll find that your passion lasts longer than those around you. You'll get annoyed and angry at something, and it just won't go away as quickly. You'll get happy and excited about something, and it will last for days, months, years, in comparison to, let's say, a human who might only be excited for a couple days. In your case, it might only last a couple months because of your diluted blood.
He nods along.
But that was a little history lesson on cultural understanding of slavery. The second thing that they're known for is their poisons. Their poisons are nasty. They are always, always, always the top of the line. If you are hit by drow poison, you had better hope that there is someone nearby who can save you. Magical healing often won't do it. Now, if you're just talking about the average drow, then you're probably going to be okay if you can survive the initial shock to your system, because the basics poisons that they use will just shock your system, and if that doesn't kill you, you should be fine. Their long-term poisons, though, you might get a paper cut and you'll be dead within a month.
It's horrible.
There are poisons that a single speck of it touching your skin will drain every last drop of moisture from your body over the course of a day.
So was the sword that owl guy used some kind of poison?
Well, we're not sure. It didn't seem to be poison, but it could have been. I'm personally leaning towards it being cursed. It didn't seem to align with whatever rules that realm plays by. Everything in that realm is darkened, toned, desaturated. Whereas that blade was violating all of those rules. I would presume it's some kind of artifact.
Probably. I mean, the other ASMR guards weren't able to heal from his injuries.
My personal theory is each user has died previous, and it's a new user each time that fights us. The sword conjures the armor, is my theory. And it's some sort of champion system. But I'm just curious on why whoever wields the sword is not coming at us with all of those who could potentially wield the sword, if you understand what I mean. Why are they
It could be
1v4ing us?
it could be like some sort of like test or challenge
Yes, but
for
they're getting weaker each
them.
time.
Like it could be that, like, what if it's like a sentient sword? So like whoever wields the weapon, the sword kind of takes the person's like body.
That doesn't explain why it's just one person at a time, though.
A sword might just, like, it might not be someone that's like connected to the realm or like in a high position of power. It might just
I
be
understand
like,
what you mean, but the being is still relatively powerful. You would imagine that their allies, if they have any, depending on the realm, would be acting to prevent such an event from occurring. We just don't have enough information, but we do have a number of theories, and yours are possible.
I guess we'll find out more. Hopefully, when Dad and Chi come back.
Well, I'm kind of hoping that we don't find out more from that. With any luck, they don't encounter anything.
Well, hopefully, but still, any information could be good. Hopefully, they're safe.
Yeah, let's hope so. Oh, there's one more thing that the Drow are known for.
Oh,
Their hatred of elves.
why do Drows hate elves?
Well, it's said that long ago, the gods made the elves, and then a single god went off on their own and plucked the shadows of elves, making them into their own elves. These would become. These drow were made from the darkest part of all elves. They hate that the elves are better versions of them. And as such, that hatred is what fuels them to be, how would you put it, vile creatures. Which only feeds into the cycle more and more. It's really quite sad.
It it is. But surely not all Drow are like that.
Not all anything is like that.
Yeah.
But it's just a question of, let's say there's 1,000 drow. You might be able to tolerate one of them, and one of them might seem alright. Does that justify dealing with the other 998?
It's a difficult question to answer.
I tend to put it this way. If you had a stone path when you were walking into your yard, sharp and cut you every time you walked in, would you put up with it for one really good looking one and one pleasant one to stand on?
No, but there's a difference between people and an object like a stone.
Are you sure on that?
Yeah,
What is the difference?
people have feelings.
And you think the stone doesn't?
Yeah,
Why do you think that?
stone's an inanimate object.
No, they're not. Every stone is a living creature. A stone elemental waiting to be born. It's like, how would you put this? A baby in a womb.
Every single stone is like that.
Yes, and every breath of air. Well, not every breath of air, but every storm. Every breeze.
And it's a
It's,
for sure thing that happens, not like a one out of like a thousand or million type thing.
well, it is 1 in 1,000, but it's, let's say it's 1 in 1,000 every day. So the conditions for the stones in your yard are not met for them to become elementals. But one day they will be. It's just a question of how long. It's a certainty that every stone shall live. Every pound of earth. Do you understand?
Mm-hmm. I think I do.
It's not something that even we elves think about too often because most of us don't live to see a stone be born. But it's about understanding those things that are beyond even our lifespan. To, well, humans, a rock is a rock. In their lifetime, in their grandparents' lifetime, in their great grandchildren's lifetime, that rock is going to be a rock. But to we elves, in my father's time, it might have been a rock. In my time, it might be a rock. But in my child's time, it might be an elemental. It's about the perspective that allows you to appreciate the differences.
I see.
Can we blame humans for not understanding the potential value there? I don't think that we can. They're youthful, they're in the moment, they are brash. They don't dedicate themselves in the same way that we elves do. They can't. They only have so much time.
I guess it really is a matter of perspective.
So I ask you again, Rudius, what would you do about the stones? Do you now see them as different?
He's thinking about it. I don't. I don't think I know yet.
That's okay, you're still very young. Your opinions on these matters have yet to form or even change. If you could trance like we could, you'd be able to perceive your old memories. And part of your soul is, well, immortal. You would have those experiences to draw from.
How can only? All right, no, that's sorry. That's a dumb question. I was just thinking about that. What I was saying more. Um,
There are
I
no dumb
guess.
questions.
I was gonna ask like, how could only part of the soul be immortal, but like that's already been explained.
Okay, maybe there are dumb. I'm kidding.
I was just like in the moment, like about to ask that. Like I would know at least a little about like how elf reincarnation works, so like he would probably know to some extent.
Yeah, it was spoken about reasonably often in the previous town that you lived in, so you'd have learnt about it when you were 7 or 8.
Yeah, I do sometimes dream of former life.
The echoes of lives long lived. If you could trance, you'd be able to call upon those memories at will one day, reviewing and learning from them as you need.
It only ever seems to be the one. It's just kind of the weird thing.
It often starts as one. Besides, because you're only a half-elf, the reincarnation that you're seeing, it'd be butchered based on your own perspective. Because of how many gaps there would be, your mind would be filling in the blanks. Think of it like half a memory, half a dream.
So maybe that's why I saw that like field when I had that dream about that sword. I might have maybe in a past life known what the sword was, but the thing that came next I didn't. So I kind of just came up with something that made sense to me, not necessarily what happened next in that sequence.
That's entirely possible.
Maybe it was some kind of cool future vision and that's my chosen sword or something, but that's kind of ridiculous.
Well, you might need a bit of a stronger hand if you're going to be wielding a sword.
Yeah, probably. I'm still pretty happy with it despite the source of where we got it from.
And people say hands don't grow on trees.
And this one grows moss.
Should continue your education.
Yeah, he'd happily study along.
Another month goes by, and then a bit more.
What's my mother doing now?
She has woven an entire quiver of arrows. And you hear the sound of your father saying, "Ow!"
He runs to see what's happening.
You run and you see your father entering the doorway with an arrow in his wing. Be right back. I'm back.
Oh, welcome back.
Your father would sudden step to you and pick you up. As an
Whoa.
arrow hits him in the knee.
Really thought he was about to use me as a human shield there to stop her from shooting him.
You see your mother holding an arrow in her bow as she's just aimed at your father who's currently holding you on one shoulder.
Welcome back.
Hey, sorry, took a wrong turn. Big place.
I bet. Are you
Another arrow goes into him. Ow.
uh how did it go? Is Chi-Chi all right?
Yeah, she should be coming through the gate any day now. Well,
I'm sorry,
any minute.
what?
Sorry. No real day-night system there.
Oh, day-night system. That's weird.
Nope, just after darkness.
That's depressing.
Oh yeah. We killed a tree. Well, your sister killed a
Good.
tree.
Good.
Turns out, dark elves. Shadowfell.
Huh. You mean... God, you mean Drow?
He pats you on the head as he gets hit by another arrow. Oh, please stop shooting me. I'm sorry.
I think she's got like one arrow for every week you were gone. She's like muttering that under her breath a lot. But are dark elves something different from drow? I thought drow were like elves that were made from like the shadows of like drow were made from the shadows of elves. So I thought they were dark elves. But are dark elves something else?
There's a bit of a difference between Dark Elves and Drow.
Oh, what's the difference?
Well, they're basically sister races. One's from the Underdark,
Okay.
one is from the Shadowfell. One tends to be more purple-blue, the other one more black and white.
Okay. So not that I'm complaining because trees suck, but what's why did you kill a tree?
Had a golden fruit. Chi-Chi comes in
You
with a backpack full of souvenirs for you. I got you
Oh,
dirt!
thank you. Oh, thank you.
She pulls out vial after vial after vial of dirt, all
I will be
labelled
able
with
to do a
different
lot with this.
distances.
Oh, I thought you will.
1 nap, 2 naps, 3 naps.
At least it's something.
Sorry, couldn't use days. I've got no idea how long things are.
Oh, that's true. At least you used a good system.
I'm gonna go take a shower and pass out now. She is head to
Yeah,
toe covered in dust, grime, and everything in between.
yeah, probably a good idea. Get some rest. He gives her a very
Thump,
awkward
thump,
hug.
thump. Your father now has 7 hours in him.
Well, I guess you've only got 18 more of those to go.
Bane. Bane, 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 Bane. I like my insides on my insides. It makes me happy when they're all in there.
Oh, that ruins my childhood lullaby. I'm gonna go take this and show Cotton Pop. I'll leave you two to whatever this is, and I'm just
Thump,
gonna
thump, thump.
take I'm just gonna take the vials and just start slowly backing out of the door.
Yep. Later, your father comes to your room. He's wearing a singlet. He's got red dots all over his body. No arrows, though.
How you feeling?
Holier than thou.
Gives a small bow to him. Did he heal himself or?
Sorry, what was that?
I was just asking, like, did he peel himself or?
Baned weapons.
Oh, I'll try and help him if I can. I'll do a treat wounds.
It looks like the wounds have already been treated as well as they can be.
Ah, okay.
Looks like cotton pops work.
Yeah, probably a good idea to have gone to them about it.
Sorry, what was that?
Oh, can you hear me? Okay.
Yes. I was just being handed
Okay.
food.
Okay. Um, yeah, probably a good idea to go to them about it.
Sorry, I forgot that you're working. Your skills should come to you.
It's fine.
Would have saved me a lecture.
Oh, did you get a lecture from them as well?
Apparently, I should say if I'm going out on an adventure for more than a month.
I mean, it kind of seems like the common courtesy thing to do. Gonna be honest.
Are you taking your mother's side?
I'm taking no sides. I'm just being honest.
Oh, my dear boy. You need to always take your mother's side. It's Survival 101.
I'm taking her side. He says a bit louder. I'm glad you made it back though.
Me too. I'm even happier that Chi Chi made it back.
And she was with you, and she's plenty capable, so I
Yeah,
have no
but we
doubts.
had no idea what was on the other side of that archway. If we had have come back and she wasn't with us, your mother might have made me into a balloon.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Surprised there wasn't more knives involved. She usually goes with knives.
I managed to convince her to not go for the knives. It was getting a bit much. The kitchen became like 90% knives.
Only 90%. You must have stopped her early.
I tried my best. I think me nearly getting drowned in like 80 knives when I opened a cabinet to get some food really was kind of the wake up point for her.
Impressive.
Yeah, I took one for the team there.
Even her father couldn't stop her from doing that. I'm impressed.
He's never really mentioned. Is there a word for grandfather in Elvish? Or is that like really a thing in elf culture?
There is a word for it. I honestly just can't remember what it is.
Okay, then I'll just say grandpa for the sake of it. But he would probably say the elvish word. Um, you never really, but two of you never really talked about him before.
Ah, your mother was a bit annoyed with him.
How so?
We got into a bit of an argument when she was pregnant with you both.
What kind of argument?
He didn't like the idea of her having children to someone who wasn't an elf.
Oh,
Your grandfather It's not because you would be a different race, it's because your lifespan would be shorter. He doesn't want to live in a world where he would grow attached to you both and then lose you both before he dies himself.
I mean, kind of makes sense from his perspective, I suppose. But I get why Mom doesn't really mention him now.
Before we could sort out the whole situation, this shifting happened, and we haven't been able to find him since.
Yeah, I forgot that happened right around the time we were born.
Same day. Heck, wasn't even a few hours after.
Kind of weird how well that lines up.
People born under rare events are destined for great things.
Eh, some are, yeah.
Yeah, you don't think so about yourself, huh?
Uh, I mean, yeah,
Why you think that?
I don't know. I don't really think I'm capable of having a kind of big impact or being that kind of person.
Why do you think that?
There's nothing really special about me.
You were
I
born to an asthma and health. A high health at that. On the day that magic returned and the whole world shifted. On top of that, you were born with one hand. It doesn't get much more special than that.
well, it's not about being in terms of what I'm capable of, more not really in terms of how I was born or how I am personality wise.
Ooh, please, I was weaker than you at 16.
Really?
Didn't even swear my oath until I was nearly 20.
That doesn't mean you're weak.
Oh, my boy. What you can lift with one hand, I could barely lift with two.
Really?
Really?
So, what changed?
I found my purpose. I found my reason for my strength. Why I needed to be strong.
And that was
To help others when they need it. To protect the world. And as I grew older, it became to protect your mother. And now it's to protect you both as well.
it gives a soft smile at that. I mean, I want to
Gotta say
help
though,
people,
at the
but
rate that you both are growing, I don't think I'm going to be able to protect you both much longer.
I mean, you've done a pretty good job of it so far.
Putting me out of a job, you two are.
Well, you've got plenty of career prospects.
And where
I
would I
just,
work? A bookstore?
I mean, you're a good hunter.
Everywhere has a hunter. Few places have master librarians.
Maybe, but I don't really think that's something I'd want to do. I mean, it'd be fun. Don't get me wrong,
No one's
but
saying you have to.
oh, I know. It's
If you want to
just
be a hunter, you can be a hunter. If you want to be an adventurer, you can be an adventurer. If you want to be a pirate, we can cut out your eye, give you a hook, and you can be on your way.
yeah. I think I've earned the right to not need the peg leg.
He looks at your feet. How about that? You've got two of those.
Yeah, at least I got two of something.
He flicks your ears. Got two of those.
I just I don't know. I don't think I'm good enough at the things I am good at, and
You've yet to
I
find
just
your
don't really
calling.
know.
Besides, you're surrounded by the best of the best, and you comparing yourself to us at 15. You should be comparing yourself to us at 15. And if you were doing that, you'd see just how much you had us outclassed. I mean, your sister, if I was to fight her when I was 15, she'd probably kill me. Even if you were to fight me, you'd still mop the floor with me, though she would have an easier time of it.
Maybe I just
There's
I
no
want to
if,
try and
buts, or
be
maybes
more.
about it. You need to be more sure of yourself, my boy. If you say something with confidence, people are more likely to listen. And if people listen, then you can have an impact. If you say something
So I just
wrong, then you need to apologize. You gotta make things right when you're wrong. But confidence is key.
need to try and have more confidence.
Well, that's one of the steps.
What are the other ones?
Knowing that you are enough. Knowing your limits. Knowing when to pull back.
He writes that down.
I'll tell you a secret that I haven't even told your sister yet. It's a secret to
That
my
is.
strength.
His ears perk up.
This is my training method. This
Nods.
is what has made me the strongest that you will ever meet.
Nods again.
I call it the limit breaker.
The limit breaker.
Yep, it's the training method to break your own limits. But you need to be completely honest with yourself.
Okay.
You must set a goal that is slightly beyond your limits. For example, you might say you need to do 500 push ups. And then you don't stop until you succeed. I know it's obnoxious to say just don't give up. But you've got to push yourself beyond that limit. You have to break your limits. Because if you don't break them, you're not going to get stronger.
Right.
You have to be honest with yourself with your limits. If your limit is 5, then do 6.
Right.
But never, ever set your target at something that's easy. If you set it at 500 and you do 500 and you've still got more in you, you go to 600. If you've still got more, then 700. And you don't stop until you're going beyond your limits. Otherwise, there's no
So
point.
go even further beyond.
If need be, yes.
Okay. Yeah, I can do that.
And you never turn back. If last week you did 100, you never do 100 again, you do 110. If you ran 10 miles, next is 11. If you fail today at 23, tomorrow you'll do 24.
Yeah, I can give that a try, yeah. No, I will give that a try.
Cool. He whacks you on your back and basically knocks you to the floor. Right, going for dinner.
He's gonna try and do 100 push-ups.
Athletics check.
Athletics, here we go. Ah, natural 20.
You get 40 done.
I got 40 done.
Yep. Like this is 40 in a reasonable pace set
Okay.
before you have to pause for a bit.
Okay. That's 40. I, I can just. Oh, oh, why is it so hard? And we go again.
Yep, after a 10-minute break, roll again. 11,
11.
that's another 22.
All right. All right. Okay, halfway there. Halfway there. God, the boss hand does not have as good muscles as I thought it did.
After
Actually,
another
why did I
10-minute
think it
break.
had? Why did I think it had muscles? It's made of moss. Here we go.
16 more. Another 10 minutes go by.
All right, we can do this. We
You
can do this.
strain a muscle in your shoulder as you do 0.
Oh, this hurts. This hurts. Can I like? I'm trained in medicine. Can I like pop it back?
You can massage the muscle. Or mean
Okay,
medicine,
I'll
and don't
massage
roll
the
a 1.
muscle. Breaks arm.
Well, I just tore a tendon off my bone.
Dad.
Yep, you're able to
25.
massage it and get it to be fine for the next set.
All right. Okay, that's better. Back at the game.
You get another 10 done. You've now got -2 to this next check.
12.
12 becomes 24.
That becomes 24.
Sorry. Yeah, 24. 12 becomes 24.
Why does 12 become 24?
It should be double your result. 14 becomes 12, and 12 times 2 is 24. So it's 24
okay,
done.
cool. So, all right. How many do I have left?
I don't know, I wasn't counting. 40, 62, 78.
All right.
88.
We go.
106.
All right. He'll go again. He'll keep pushing his limits.
Yeah, you get another 6 done.
90. I'm basically going at this point until I can't. If I'm past 100.
Yeah, roll 5d20. Yeah, one more good set, and then you're completely spent by the second one.
Okay. I did it.
You got 122 done. Before you
Nice.
just couldn't hold yourself up anymore.
Towards the end, he was just going, "Yes, yes, I can win. I feel great. I can do this." And then at the end, he just face plants into the ground.
Alright.
And then after that, I guess I would, um, take that lesson to heart, and I would start doing some work with all the samples I got given, and show them to Cotton Pop
You
and
would do
try to
that
get
if
some
you
work
could
with that
lift your
done.
arms.
Yeah, so I will wait
You wake up in the morning
until.
and your arms are worse than they were last night.
Oh, why did I do this to myself? I don't know. I can't. I can't complain. Oh, he like rolls up, or like he tries to like sit up and just ends up rolling. Oh no, that's worse. That's worse. Can I like medicine check myself to see if I can help it anyway to make this feel not as bad?
Well, Cotton Pot has some potions that you know would help.
Hmm. I'm gonna try and sit up and get to my feet.
You can sit up and you can walk. It's just your arms. You're walking around like, what's his Orochimaru in part one.
I've got like a bag full of all the different samples and stuff. Like the kind of like what? Trying to think of the word. Like the handle is like over my shoulder, but I'm not carrying the bag at all.
Hmm.
I'm just like slowly walking my way over to Cotton Pop's lab.
You just see that she sees you approaching. She looks you up and down. Oh, that's concerning. Did you hurt your
And
back?
I am. Uh, yes.
She walks over to the red potions. You know that the ones that you wanted are yellow ones.
No, arms. Sorry.
Okay. Overexerted yourself, got it. She grabs a yellow one.
I,
Alright. Rules with these, you get one a week at most. And here you go. She pops the top, basically stomps on your toes so that you open your mouth and just shoves the thing in your mouth.
wait, what do you? Mm, and then just drinks it.
You're affected by greater restoration.
Oh, oh, that's so much better.
Are you sure? She smacks you on the arm. It feels fine.
Yeah, feels fine.
Good. Get to cleaning.
Yes, I'll get to cleaning. I would
Alright.
mention I would mention the samples and everything as well, and show it to them.
Yep. Huh. Nifty.
Yeah, a lot of dirt from that side of the portal, along with I think it's an apple core.
I don't think Chi Chi's had the chance to give you the apple core yet. Chi Chi, you there?
Oh, I assumed that was with all the stuff that she gave me.
They are not back yet.
Okay, I guess I do not have it, so I will show the dirt.
They go over some of the dirt. This will be some good research.
It should be. Once we take a crack at it, I
Too
will
bad your
explain
father
the.
already spoiled everything. We already know what plane it is.
Oh.
Get the fun
Ah.
right out of it.
Does that tell you anything else?
Well, there's no need for research to discover it.
But like, do you have any ideas on how to, get rid of this archway, or what kind of effects a gateway to the Shadowfell would have on the what would I call this plane? Like, what would he know to call it? The just material or the prime?
For real plane.
Okay. What does this affect? What effect will that have on the real plane?
That's complicated, but from what we know, we can pretty much solidify the theory that, hey, this is a permanent breach that was probably created artificially by someone or was sprung into existence from the shifting. As part of it,
Okay.
people are able to cross freely, which makes this a valuable location between the two different planes. Whatever faction owns it basically can gather resources from the other side. Which means their people could farm on our land and we could gather resources, metals and such from theirs.
Why would we want to do that if there's a murder guy coming through and killing people from it? Wouldn't it be safer to just try and find a way to close it?
I mean, yes, but it's about the different perspectives on it.
I guess
If we could
one of
kill
the
the murder
perspectives is
guy,
murder.
then the land is ours. Until the next murder guy tries to
Yeah,
take it.
yeah, but like it's not really our land though, and if
What makes this our land? We didn't buy it. We just rocked up here. And now it's ours.
fair, but
There's
like
no one living on the other
that's
side of that archway.
but should we really get involved with dark elves?
No, I don't think we should. We should keep our distance from them. Any who enter this civilization that we construct on the other side, if we construct any, should be fought off.
But why risk building a civilization?
Well, they're going to try coming through the archway to explore this region.
Yes, but that's why we close the archway.
Okay, but we close ourselves off to a powerful resource, and that's if we can close the archway in the first place. Your father already tried when he first. Was it your father? It was one of the ASMR. One of them already tried
Like,
to
yeah, but
close
there
it.
might, but there's a surely some way of doing so, right? It can't
There's
be
always
just
a
a
way.
permanent rift with like no way of closing it.
There's no way it's permanent. Well, there's a way that it's permanent, but it's also not impossible for you to close it, if you understand.
Hmm.
There's always a way to do things.
I just don't see the the benefit of trying to establish a stronghold in a different plane when that could cause a lot of issues. Like, what if the Dark Elves get annoyed that someone is trying to set up something in their home plane, and then that causes an interplanar conflict? Like that
Well,
owl guy.
we would control the only way of them getting into our plane. Other
It's
than
not
powerful
true.
magics, but using powerful magics to do so limits the amount of people that they can breach over at a time. We could send an entire several armies through. They can send a few squadrons through at a time.
Yeah, but to mobilize an army would take us days, if not weeks, and then we'd be taking away a substantial amount of forces from civilized areas and moving it over to their home turf while they can use magic potentially to send elite
Again, you're thinking
squadrons
about the
into less
short
guarded
term.
areas.
talking about the long-term implications of this. Maybe 1,000 years from now. In 1,000 years, there'll probably be, let's say, 30,000 Dark Elves, whereas there might be 200,000 humans. Add another 1,000 years, make that 2 million humans. And 35,000 Dark Elves.
Right, but I also don't think that like data should wholly be used as like potential data based on assumptions should be used as the only thing to go off here. We don't know how many of them there are. Like, what if there's millions?
It's the Shadow Realm. There's no way there's enough living things in that realm to house millions of Dark Elves in one region. For all intents and purposes, yes, there are risks to this, but we're in a heavily advantageous situation. We control the resources going in. We have people and connections to apply to actually make good use of the resources. And we have your father to protect us so that no one can get out.
Maybe, but what if the next time that guy shows up he's like way stronger? I just think with so many unknown variables, the more cautious option would be better.
Alright, but caution doesn't get people anywhere.
It keeps people safe.
No, it doesn't. Yes, that would keep you safe from the Dark Elves. But there are a mess of political situations going on with the humans. Sooner or later, humans are going to want to claim this area. That puts you at risk.
Like 12 people here, we can move.
Okay. And what if the humans don't ask? Or, better yet, let's say they ask, you move, then they come up to your new area after a few years and ask you to move again. Do you just keep moving? What happens when you run out of land?
I mean, humans is kind of a broad term, though, isn't it? Because
My understanding is there's 6 factions in this region. One dwarf, one elf, 4 humans.
but isn't the area we from allied with the human?
One of them, yes. Which basically makes you the enemies of all of the others. And as you said, there's only 12 of you. Is a region lord going to risk hundreds of lives for 12 people?
No, but then He thinks about it. But then wouldn't it be then possible that so this land that we're on, this isn't claimed by that faction.
It's not claimed by any faction, technically. It's far
Okay.
enough removed that
So
no one owns it.
why does it matter if the threat gets taken care of and then someone in the future maybe wants this land?
Are you just going to keep moving? Is this your home?
I I don't know if I consider this area my home.
Really? You've spent years here.
I guess, but
This is where your family lives.
yeah.
This is where everyone you know lives.
Well, not everyone that I know. Like the people I were closest to was back in the city that I never got the name of, so I insert name here. The
No.
No, is back in Null. That's kind of where I considered to be our home. We only came here because of this portal. I mean, I'm 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 great. Like it's given me opportunities, but I also think isn't it also a danger? I maybe I just don't
Aren't your
understand
friends
politics.
from Null not even in Null anymore? I remember speaking to your mother about this.
Well, I mean, true, but like I guess I just don't consider. Maybe I just don't know enough about politics to kind of understand why taking the gamble with this is more advantageous than trying to seal it up. I guess is the best way of putting it.
Sealing it off is by far the safer option. It's the option I would personally choose myself. But the option is going to be decided by the Asimar. Now, there is a lot to be said about the resources that you could potentially harvest from this area. Let's say this is actually a small island that we're on. There's not much land other than the land that we've seen that is not owned by someone. That means land is a very valuable resource. Being able to expand into this realm would basically constitute a drastic shift in power. What if a faction controlled this portal would be at a massive advantage compared to the others.
That's true. But then doesn't keeping the portal open increase the chance for warring conflict over such a potential large scale resource? I mean, sure, if the portal's gone, this is still technically unclaimed land, so people would still want to fight over it, but to a much lesser extent.
It would
And if
act
it's
as an
less valuable,
accelerant for war. Maybe war won't happen this generation if we close the portal. It might happen the next or the generation after. But it will happen until there is only one faction.
you don't think it's possible for coexistence?
No.
Why?
Coexistence is an impossibility. It has never happened in all of time. Sure, for several generations it might happen. Eventually, someone will break it when they want what the other side has. With this portal, the Asimars might be able to choose which side will win. An interesting responsibility. Given we are talking about humans as well, they are a relatively greedy species. They always want more. It's what makes them rather remarkable. But it also means that they're more likely than any other to, well, not any other, than most others to resort to war.
So it could be likely that if word gets out about this, that and it gets given to someone that isn't the humans might start a war about it.
Potentially, yes. The humans
But
are in the best position to make use of this resource. They breed faster than elves or dwarves. Though dwarves would be able to mine the resource faster than any other, and elves might even be able to partially restore the land on the other side. In terms of the long term, elves would have by far the best opportunity with it. In the intermediate term, humans, and in the short term, dwarves.
I guess it's how long do you think you'll be able to hold the position of having this resource once someone claims it or you give it to someone?
Yep, and that's above my pay grade. I don't know the inner workings of different politics. I only know the general stuff, which is everything I've told you.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it either. I don't know. I try to avoid politics.
You should consider it. It's good for your soul.
I don't know if I believe that.
Are you driven by greed?
No,
Do you like making people happy?
I guess.
Do you like making people's lives better?
That's what I want to do.
Politics is an incredible way to do that. It is only when greed corrupts that politics becomes bad. But that's why it needs pure people. People who care. Without people who don't want to be politicians, we're left with only those who want power. And those who want power make the worst kind of politicians. Really, they make the worst kind of people. When it's want, not need, the world turns dark. Do you understand, Rudius?
I do. Guess I'll just need to look into it more. I'll be honest and say I never really considered it.
Alright.
Oh, Rudius 2024.
Would Rudius like to go speak to Sachi? Or, well, Chi-Chi?
Yeah. Rudius would go and check in on Chi Chi now that she's had some time to rest after the expedition.
Right.
Knock knock.
Who is it?
It's me. Can I come in?
Yeah. Yeah, you can come in.
You feeling better?
Hey.
Hey,
Yeah, now that I've had to sleep on an actual bed, well, I'm doing much better. How are you
that's good to
doing?
hear. Oh, I'm alright.
Did you find out anything interesting about the dirt?
Uh, not yet. Uh, but we might be able to learn some more from it. It's good we now know what exactly that place is. I mean, that's given us some useful information.
I'm glad. Will that help in your research?
It should. I mean, now that I know that's the Shadowfell, if I do decide to go over to the Dwarven lands and get access to their library, I would definitely narrow down the research topics if I look into symbols and stuff relating to the Shadowfell.
Heck yeah. Oh, that reminds me. I do actually have one more thing for you to check out. She pulls out a little wrapped up something or other and hands it to you. We also found this. It was probably the most exciting thing we found there.
He'll unwrap it.
It is a golden apple core.
Oh, this is what Dad was talking about.
And by small, it's about the size of your fist.
Man, it's pretty big. Yeah, when you were asleep, you mentioned something about you killing a tree to get it.
I didn't kill a tree per se. It was already like crumbly, and then I took the apple and it kind of just crumbled the rest of the way, I guess.
Huh, so when you removed it, it caused the tree to die?
Not really. The tree was already pretty dead. Everywhere
Hmm.
else it was used to be, when I touched them, it just crumbled into dust, so yeah, it was already pretty, like, rotten. Oh, I brought you some pieces of that as well.
Oh, thanks.
I don't know if it'll be as useful as the dirt, but I thought it might be interesting to study alongside.
That's really considerate of you. Thank you.
No problem. I hope you get some use out of it.
Oh, I'm sure I will.
Oh, and I got some da da da, da, and she just like hands you a bunch of like little random pieces of foliage and sticks and maybe some more dirt and stuff. Just like little bits of anything different that she found is just a pile of like crap from the
They're
shelf.
like, just like a pile of vials that's like taller than me at this point.
Well, I did just have them all in my satchel, so it's just kind of like some of them are a little mixed together. I tried my best to keep them separate, but you know,
he
they're
really,
just
he
in my
really
satchel.
appreciates it. So,
Make sure
how
to
was
tell
your?
me when you find anything interesting. You can talk to me while I'm training.
Yeah. So, how was your first adventure?
Uh, well, we only saw two things the whole time, basically. There was like this wolf creature right near the beginning that killed like instantly. And then there was the big tree that all this stuff came from with the dark elves from it. And that was pretty much it. The rest of the time was just walking through like kind of gray landscape, so I'm really glad to see the green trees again.
I bet after being stuck there for a couple of months.
Walking into the sunlight was like pretty blinding at first.
Oh,
My
I
eyes
bet.
are still a little sore as she like rubs at them. But it's nice to be back. I missed you a lot. We didn't even get really to celebrate our birthday.
Yeah, that's true. I just woke up and then apparently Dad had taken you into the portal was all I heard.
I mean, that's pretty much what I heard as well. I thought it was only going to be like a few hours, maybe a couple days by the way he was talking about it, but then we were gone for months just walking through the ash.
Yeah, so did we, and Mom got a bit, well, looks behind shoulder.
You guys spot her watching you both.
Well, Sachi like smiles at her mom and like rub back of her head, and then says a little bit quietly. She knows her mom can still hear her, but I'm glad I was sleeping for a bit then.
Yeah, you missed about 25 arrows being shot into Dad.
Okay, maybe I'm not glad that I slept then.
You want him to get shot with arrows?
It's complicated.
I mean, I'm happy to listen.
I mean, like, no, I don't want him to, but since he was getting shot anyway, it might have been fun a lot.
Fair enough, I suppose.
Speaking of, I got shot.
What?
I'm not
Who
sure if
shot
I
you?
actually. One of the dark elves when I was getting the apple. I'm not sure if I actually died this time or if Dad caught me before I hit the ground, but that was a thing that happened, I guess.
No, what? I'm so sorry.
Eh,
I, what do you mean, eh?
I also got hit a couple times by the other elves, and I don't think I died that time. It's hard to tell.
Hey, it's a bit weird you're treating the idea of you dying so casually.
Well, it's happened a few times already.
It has?
Yeah.
But it only happened once.
Uh, through training, I've discovered that Dad's kind of like the toss the baby bird out of the nest and hope it flies kind of person, I guess.
So he's let you die, is what you're telling me.
I don't know if it's like let me die so much as it happens sometimes.
You notice that your mother is gone.
Whoops. Hey, you want to go see a show completely unrelated to what we're talking about?
Oh, totally. Honestly, this one's deserved after learning that piece of information.
It's so that I'm not scared of it, or that's what Mom said. Anyway, come on. She like grabs your hand and starts running towards the door.
Yeah,
We're gonna
I'm
go
following
find their
along.
parents.
There's glass everywhere, and your dad. You just hear a boom as your father is out the door off into the air. Even though he's doing that, you see your mother at the door pulling back an arrow and letting it loose. Up and over your father as it goes in front of him, and he actually manages to fly into it as he's looking over his shoulder.
Ah, what a sick trick.
Oh, great shot.
You just see your father spinning and falling out of the air.
Does he look like he's actually, or is he like putting on a show?
You're not sure with him. You're betting he's putting on a show, but you're never sure.
Well,
So
that
what
looked
have
like
you
it
been up
hurt.
to while I've been gone?
Oh, it's mainly just
Yeah.
been more research and training and, I don't know, thinking about the future.
Oh, what have you been thinking about?
I don't know, I don't really know what I want to do fully yet. Like, I enjoy alchemy. And I enjoy medicine. I can use that to help people. I just don't really know. I mean, today, the idea of politics got suggested to me.
What did you think of that?
I I don't know. I don't really know much about politics, and most of the stuff I've heard from Nokui isn't exactly good.
Hmm, that is fair, but you've got a good heart and a brilliant mind, so I think you'd be able to help a lot of people.
I think brilliant might be a bit of an over exaggeration, but I appreciate it.
I mean, people are their greatest critics.
Yeah, that's true.
Plus, when you're always in such a brilliant mind, it's hard to remember that there are so many people so much less brilliant than you.
I'm-
She like grabs your head and nuggies you.
That hurts you. That actually hurts you.
Sorry, what?
Rudius gets a bruise on his head.
From what?
Her nuggying you.
Ah, okay. Uh, he's gonna. Hey, quit it, and like jokingly, even though it actually probably decently hurts.
Okay, okay. She like lets him out of the like arm hold and pats him on the back.
Inside screaming.
But it doesn't matter what you choose in the end. As long as you like it, I'll support you. Unless it turns out you just like killing people for fun. Then I might have to stop you, but other than that,
I'm glad to know there's a line.
well, of course. People who truly love you don't let you do, just anything you want. She side eyes over at her mother.
That's true. What about you? Are you set on the adventure thing?
I I don't know about specifically adventurer. Um, I definitely want to get stronger, but I'm not sure what to do with my strength yet. I know I want to help people, but I also want to make sure that you guys are safe. I'm still figuring it out, I guess.
I guess we both are.
Yeah. I had a lot of time to think, but also not much action to take, so it was just rolling around in my head the whole time.
I guess we just gotta find our purpose, I suppose.
Yeah. I mean, they do keep talking about having a good destiny or whatever, so maybe we will find that.
Maybe. I don't really know if I believe in all that, to be honest.
That's fair. It's hard to tell sometimes. When day by day things just seem so normal, it's hard to imagine eventually having something great that you're supposed to do.
I mean, I think the idea is kind of cool, though. Going on a grand adventure, saving the world, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but also, if it's your destiny, it doesn't feel as much as it's your own choice, you know? Unless destiny is your choice, and it's just oh, you would have done that because that's the type of person you are, sort of thing, but hard to figure out, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. I have this deep feeling inside myself that I at once both accepted and rejected it. It's weird.
Huh. I mean, that's fair.
It's like a weird sense of deja vu. Uh, Something interesting that did kind of happen. I had this really weird dream about
Well,
this sword.
do you show me a drawing or anything?
Yeah, I do. I show you a drawing of the sword.
Whoa, that looks cool.
Yeah, it does. It was
What?
magical and anything. It kind of looks like a katana.
Ah. Hey, I have one of those. She pulls it off her back. What do you what do you think the dream was for?
I don't know. I saw the sword. I tried to reach out to the sword, and then everything crumbled around me. I fell into a void, but like a different one than the one that I fell into after I walked on the water with mom and that other nightmare I had. And then I woke up in the middle of a grassy plains, and then the dream ended there.
Sounds confusing. And
Yeah,
it's supposed to be prophetic.
I mean, maybe it is, but I don't really know what I'm supposed to get from that, or the other one.
Maybe it's one of those things that you only realize once it's already happened.
Could be.
Either way, that's a pretty cool sword to see.
Yeah, it would be nice to. I mean, I'm working on something. I mean, mom mentioned something about a sword kind of like that looks a little bit like that, and I can do this cool thing with alchemy to kind of replicate the glowing and the energy coming off of it effect. But
Oh,
yeah, you can do a lot of really cool stuff with it.
heck yeah.
Science is a pretty powerful thing.
Only in the right hands.
Well, hand, but True.
That one's a part of you now. You've named it as your own. It was also made you, so
That's true. I think I've definitely started to get used to it.
I'm glad to hear that. I hope it's able to keep up with all your experiments and writing and carrying thick books.
Hmm. Yeah, it turns out doing that doesn't give you as great of muscles as you thought. I nearly passed out from doing over 100 push-ups last night.
You did over 100 push-ups? That's
Oh,
that's pretty impressive.
really?
Yeah, I didn't know you were that strong. Man, you've been working while I've been gone, huh?
Yeah, I'm trying to keep up.